hair is looking, or how things are going, or how Oliver's hair is looking. We're going to see how that is in a minute here, or how we're changing things up on this platform. We're just going to keep on keeping on. We host these different styles of the Pitch-A-Thons. Let us know what you guys think in the comments down below of your thoughts. Today, we're going to do things a little bit different from even what we did last week or the week before. This week, we're going to do 1 hour or about 45 minutes to an hour, little Q&A or AMA overview of Spare Parts Universe. They're minting their collection as live right now. And then we're going to get some technical analysis with Frankie J. I think he'll be a regular on the show, telling us what the hell is going on in the market. And then we'll be chatting with him for about 15 to 20 minutes here at about the halfway point. And then we should be hearing from Anthony and Infinite NFT. They have a whole bunch of updates going on over there. They're also minting live right now. Their playable NFTs are over there. If we don't hear from him during this live stream, we are going to hear from him for sure during the X Space that is coming up right after this. X Space audio is actually live right now. I'm going to bring up Spare Parts Universe actually as we speak. The X Space audio is live right now, but we're actually going to be pitching and having shorter pitches like we used to do coming up here in about 2 hours from now. Just like I said, let us know you guys' thoughts in the comments down below. We don't have any giveaways going on specifically for today, but if you guys want us to do future giveaways, then all you guys got to do is max engage with this space. If you guys are watching over on YouTube, then please throw a like, subscribe, drop some comments, all that good stuff. Just watch the video itself, help increase our metrics. And that'll enable us to actually go ahead and do some extra giveaways like we were doing just a few months ago. But for now, we're just sort of updating this platform, figuring out what we want to move forward with, whatever makes the most sense to jump along with. And we're going to hammer out a format, and then we're going to move forward from there. So let us know your guys' thoughts and comments down below. Also, let us know if you guys have any questions, thoughts, comments for Spare Parts Universe. If you guys are listening to the replay, which will probably be most of you actually listening to this replay, then also make sure you're jumping in the community. The odds are I'm not going to be able to ask all the questions or get everything answered that you have for Oliver and SPU fam. There's just so much going on here. So make sure you guys are jumping in the Discord, the Telegram, following them on X, getting as involved as possible. Moving forward, but there should be a pretty good glimpse, a pretty cool behind the scenes that not a lot of people I think have ever gotten. We were very lucky a few weeks ago to get a little behind the scenes. I think we're going to pick it up a little bit more today with this AMA and overview. Before we kick things off to Oliver, Wally, anything you want to chime in?
No, sorry, nothing on my end. I got the stream on my phone going up. I'm quality control over here. I don't want to echo or anything like that. But everything's good on my end. I hope everyone's doing well, man. Jump right into it.
Let's go. Appreciate you, Wally, for jumping up here, part of the New Money Media team. You know, there's Smart Money, Dumb Money, Old Money. Years from now, they'll be calling you New Money. Until then, you guys are stuck here with us. We're going to be trying to show you guys some very high-quality companies, some projects here, doing some high-level interviews. And then after this, we'll get through a whole bunch of hopefully high-quality shills that are a little bit shorter for you. But we'll see how it goes. We'll play that by ear. But for now, we're going to turn things over to Oliver from the Spare Parts Universe. Oliver, again, for anybody who maybe is just discovering this on YouTube or X, maybe an elevator pitch about you guys, and then we'll get more into the nitty gritty after that and talk about the NFT and all the good stuff that you're working on. What you got?
Yeah, what's good, everybody? Oliver here, Spare Parts Universe, creator of the universe, supreme leader.
Can we see your face? Oh, there he is. Yeah.
Yeah, what's good? What's good? Yeah, we gave a little quick tour here for New Money Crypto. I think last week or the week before, or whatever it was. I'll give you a quick, brief look here. What's going on here? And this is a new case I'm working on. It's made up of a bunch of broken mirrors that I put together. And there's another case over there. That's a life-size version of Kapali, the main character. And then there's another case right there. And then a bunch of the Limbots are up there. There's some tucked away behind the closet over there, behind the curtain. Those are Gen 1. Like, those are the original ones that I made long-ass time ago. But basically, Spare Parts Universe is art-driven. And I make these sculptures from recycled materials and found objects from everywhere, you know, from traveling. Friends give me trash, and then sometimes I come back home on a plane with a bag full of trash, and I make these sculptures. I call them Limbots. Limbots is eventually going to be the name of the game, the name of the cartoon show, the NFTs. You know, Spare Parts Universe is the umbrella that creates all of it. And over the course of 11 years, after collecting, recycling, I have bins of organized trash, and I make these sculptures, and the foundation to this universe are these sculptures. I couldn't do anything without them. Uh, the NFT collection, the game, the cartoons, it's all inspired by the sculptures themselves. And life, shit, I can't live without these things either, because this is my therapy. I do this to calm down, to level out. Like I don't do drugs. I don't drink like that. I just this is what I do to level me out. And I mean that's really kind of like an elevator pitch, really. So if you're into like real art and cartoons and NFTs, entertainment, especially, that's where it all lies, right here. So that's the main utility here, is entertainment. Entertainment, movies, magic, music, everything, all the above. Anything entertainment related, art, visual graphics, it's all done in house. I'm the sole creator, and I do it all by hand. I do everything by hand. That's it. Yeah, I do it all by hand. And I got a big show this week. I'll touch more on that in a little bit. But I'm gearing up for that. It's an annual event that I go to for the last 4 or 5 years. It's the regional Burning Man. So you can already expect what's going to be happening out there. Lots of fun, lots of people, lots of connections being made. It's all love, man. It's all love. Everybody's coming there from all over the world to display their art, to see art, interactive art, listen to music, and mingle, and then just share. Everybody's there to share. That's really what this event is about. Like, there's no vendors there. Nobody is allowed to sell
Right on,
anything.
Oliver. Real quick before we get too much into the event, because I am
Yeah.
stoked that you're going to that and helping to spread the word. I guess I just want to make sure it's super clear for anybody that's just hearing about you guys. So this is an intellectual property play here. And so you have essentially gone out in the world throughout your life. You found various bits and pieces of things that you find interesting. You bring them back, you sort them, loosely speaking, and then you eventually find a place for them on some sort of figure that you then create, and then you animate them and you create content using these different pieces of material that you've collected. Is that essentially the gist of what's
Yep.
going on here? So you have
Exactly.
okay, so yeah, so you have some different content then, like what's an example? So like, are they animations that you're making, or like what's
Yeah,
some stuff that
they're animations. They're all created via webcam and live body tracking. The process that it takes to. Let me put the phone in the other room. Hold on one second. Yeah, so the process of creating these animations is very extensive. The easiest part actually is animating them. But getting to that point is the most difficult part. You have to get the character ready. Like, after I finish here, like, this is one that I finished the other last week. This is one of them. This is a gift, actually, for the founder of this event that I'm going to this week. I'm familiar with him. We're friends. He's got a Broadway theater down here, and he's into a lot of different ventures. And somebody recommended me make a gift for him, because this year's theme is Island of Broken Toys. So this couldn't work out any better. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is Glenn, and he's got a little he's got a little heart there for it's all spare parts, man. It's all, and I put a cape on him, which is also one of my characters, original clothing. Anyway, but whatever. This is the first character that lights up. I put a light on it.
That's so fucking cool.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. So So the process is I make the sculpture, the Limbot. It also has an NFC chip on the back here, so anybody could scan this, and it's going to take them directly to the cartoon show. So I make the sculpture, which takes about 5 to 8 hours, and then I take about 6 or 7 or 8 pictures, you know, front, quarter, left, back quarter, back quarter, the other profile, and then however many pictures that is. And then I have an archive of all these pictures for each character. So then I pick the ones that I want and I put them in the Photoshop. And then I apply a series of different filters and adjustments to make them look like the characters in the cartoon show. And then I break the body down from limb to limb, left arm, left leg, right leg, so on. Eyeball, pupil, eyebrows, hair, and I do that for the front, left, and right. So I get that ready, and once that's ready, I then I put that into Adobe Character Animator, which is the animation software, and then I rig the body with each limb has to get rigged, the torso, the arms with bone structure, the legs from feet, from toe to heel, all the joints, the shoulder, waist, neck, head, waist, all those are joints, and then that process right there takes another I'd say 3 to 4 hours. The process of breaking the limbs down takes about 5 to 7 hours. And then the animation is simple. It's this live body tracking with my webcam. It's got lip syncing, and anything I do like this, it tracks my body. So whenever you're watching the show and you see the characters moving around, that's actually around like an inflatable tube, man. So it's fun. The process of animating is very easy, man. It's super easy, but it takes time to learn the software. It took me 6 months. And once the character is broken down, rigged, it literally takes however long that episode is, that's how long it takes to animate. So if it's a 5-minute episode, it takes 5 minutes to animate. But that character is forever ready. I have the project files. I can use them over and over again. I can make whatever changes I make to in Photoshop dynamically links to the animation software. So let's say I want Kapali to have a hat this time. I just put the hat in there, update it, and the body automatically updates. So that's a cool factor. And then after that, I put after the character's animated with a transparent background, I put that into Adobe Premiere Pro, which is the final steps. And then I drop in the background, and whether they're at home, which is on Earth, or they're working, which is on planet Altreix, which is a different planet, and they're working at the news station. So they're yeah. I'll get into the lore because I don't know if I said that last time, but you know the lore started a long time ago. I got inspired to write this lore back in 2017. I took a long trip, man. I went to I was gone for like 6 months. I got rear-ended, and I ended up collecting like $15,000. And I said, "Fuck this! I'm out of here." And then I left the country for 6 months, bro. I went to Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand, India, Sri Lanka, where I almost drowned, and I went to Germany, Sweden, Holland, London, and I was gone for 6 months. And then when I went to Sweden, I was spending time with this girl there that I met in Thailand, and whatever, that's a different story. But she said, "Hey, visit me." So I went to visit her, and then I was there for 5 days. It was a small town, nothing there, and I had a lot of free time. And I ended up writing a comic book series, and that's where the lore came in for the whole universe. And I have little bits and pieces of everything that I've been through in life as you know, everything, emotion, experience, whatever it is, every part of that is included in my lore, in the universe, in the artwork, in everything. Like, for example, in the show, in the pilot that I'm working on now, there's going to be an airport cafe. This airport cafe is the connecting point that goes from Earth to planet Altraix, where they go to work. So every time these Limbots go to work, they have to go to the airport cafe and get into a teleportation device, and they glitch through the system and news control room where all the characters meet up, mingle real quick, and then they spread out to their news stations. Each character is going to have their own set, and then when they're done working, other things happen. They go back home. There's going to be a game show. There's going to be a comedy set that my friend's going to be hosting, and there's a lot. And I just wrote the pilot out. It's not done yet. It's about 60-70% complete, but the pilot is the pilot is I wrote that last week when I travel. Somehow every time I travel, that's the only time I have free time. It's weird. When I travel, that's the most I have free time. So I had a hotel I stayed in for a week, and in 2 nights, in about 6-7 hours, I wrote the script, all the dialogue, and I have a couple people from the spaces here that are going to be in the show. And it's fun. It's all around fun, man. I love doing this, and this is my most recent spare part here, actually. This is the newest piece. It's probably going to be a head. This is probably going to be like the hair, and then this is the head area. I'll put some eyes here and a mouth, and then I'll attach a neck to it, and then put a torso, and then the legs, and then put the arms on. And yeah, this is the latest piece right here. Yeah.
Insane. I guess if you could sort of on that note, you dropped some alpha. I didn't even know that you're coming out with either like a movie or a TV series. I've seen the lots of different bits of, what you've dropped. It reminds me of almost like early Adult Swim or like Cartoon Network or, like Robot Chicken meets South Park, meets, something like that. So I guess if you could expand, I guess 2 things for you. If you could expand a little bit more on like your plans with the IP and what you're planning on doing with it, and if at the same time you could either show us some more of the Limbots or like some more of the characters, maybe like how you go about building it. It was interesting to hear your remarks on you finding a piece and what you thought it might be.
Yeah. So the IP is massive, bro. It's massive. I got a lot of characters, and the main goal here is to finish up this pilot and then produce it, which is going to take some time. It's going to take some time. I know people are eager, but right now I'm just feeding everybody as much as I can with short clips, minutes, 2 minutes, whatever it is, just to keep their retention span, because we know how how today is. Nobody could retain any information because we're all bird brains. So, and the goal here is to take spare parts, Limbots, the animated series, and pitch it. So I've done a lot of research in the last many years. It's not easy to land a deal or to gain representation, because to everybody in the industry, we're nobody to them. We're nobody. Bless you. Yeah, we're nobody. On noise, there's not enough awareness, and it's just taking more and more time to take to the next level. So what my goal is to just be as active as I can creatively, and just keep producing content and bring more and more awareness to my universe, and have it be on levels of like your favorite musical artist, or your favorite artist, or your favorite celebrity, whoever it is, because we all share our favorite actors' work. If they got a funny video or if they got something that they made, we actively share those things. So I need to get to that. I need to get to that level to where these this IP, the music or the everything is getting shared constantly, sharing it to people outside of spaces, in spaces, Web 2, Web 3, whatever it is. I really have no limitations. In fact, I encourage that for everybody to not limit themselves, but I'd like to expand my horizons. I don't like to just hone in on Web 3. In fact, I don't even care about Web 3. Like it's not an easy industry, and everybody's just chasing hype, money, and none of that matters to what I'm doing. I don't. There's none of this. What I'm creating is hype. None of it is money. It's just purely entertainment and art, and that once that blossoms, then everything else is going to follow. And I do believe that. I've been convinced by interviews that I've watched. People are these successful people are always saying, just keep going, and I really do this for myself. Before I even got into Web3, I was doing this. For the last 5 years, I've been creating these animations. And unfortunately, it hasn't really grabbed yet, but it grabbed for me. So that's all that matters for me. And I respect, appreciate, and bow down to all the people out there that see what I see, and they want to help take this universe to the next level, because at that point is when we're all gonna make it. Once Spare Parts makes it, I have a very good feeling about that. I've been set here. I'm on a mission. I don't sleep much. I won't until everybody is fed. You know what I mean? I'm constantly trying to find avenues of trying to help others, and I've been doing that my whole life. Every time I meet a musician, I had a full-fledged recording studio 7-8 years ago for about 10 years, and I had a Google listing. I was the #1 studio in my city, and people would come there, record all the time in these here. But I've always told my individuals, I was like, bro, get your ass to some music. You got a producer here making beats. You got the mic booth. Everything is here. But you know what? You can't make people do what they don't want to do. And it took me a long time to learn that, a very long time. And I'm still grasping on to those people that are there that I want to help. But it comes to the time where you have to realize these people don't want help, whether they want to do it themselves or not. They're comfortable where they are. Let them be, bro. Let them be. Don't let them slow you down. Don't let them fuck your energy, and don't let them stress you out. It's as much as all that happened to me. I'm slow. It's taken me a long time. I'm a very slow learner. I'm not born in the right year. That's for damn sure. I'll tell you that. But it's taken me some time to figure all this out, and it's happening. Little by little, it's getting there, and I'm gonna get to the point where I'm only gonna help the people that want help, and whether that's creatively, whether that's to talk to somebody. People always come to me to talk about their problems. I don't know what it is. I can't even solve my own fucking problem. These guys, I can solve theirs.
I'm with you, man. Amen to that. We all got our things, but I want to bring it back to Spare Parts Universe here, and you and what you're working on, real quick. So yeah, are you able to show us off a couple more of the actual figures that you've made, and then what's going on with the NFTs? Are these different versions of Limbots that already exist? Are these potential Limbots? Are these what's going on?
That's a great question. So real quick, I'll show you this collection that I released has the potential of creating many possible combinations, which has been drastically reduced to 504. And in this collection, there will be more collections coming out down the road because I've created so many more of these Limbots that are not in this collection. So I was saying it the other day, everything that I create, right? The piece before that creation, it becomes that much more rare. So because each piece is a one of one, and yeah, so this is the original collection here. Let me put the camera on if I can. Or I'll just turn the camera on like this. So this is the curtain here. This is Gen 1 here. These guys are 11 years old. They're more simple, they're smaller, but this is where it all started. Right here.
Really quickly,
And then
Oliver, are you able to play with your Wi-Fi? It's kind of rubber banding just a little bit. I can still see through
that corner. Is it okay now?
Yeah, it's better now. Yeah, oh yeah. I can still see it pretty well. I just want to make sure everybody got a full clear image. This is insane. So this is Gen 1 we're looking at?
This is Gen 1. Yeah, there's a bunch of tiny little, the average is like 5 inches tall. And these guys, there's a whole bunch of them, man. There's a whole bunch of them. The Redneck Rodney's back there. A couple other characters that are not named all the way down in there. That's Schneider. He's going to be headlining the comedy set when we do the comedy set. And that's Kapali.
That's the main character right there. Wow. Okay, looking at royalty.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. That's the main character.
And so are the NFTs based off of these characters?
They are. Not these ones. Not these ones. The previous, the Gen 1 collection. So none of these have been added to. Yeah. None of these have been added. This one's in there, I believe.
In the case.
Yeah, it's a case. And then
and so what do people get when they actually are buying these NFTs? Like what's is it the piece of art that they're buying for? Are they supporting you, or are they, is there anything else they're getting?
Yeah. There's a couple of things that I added. Right now you just really just get a piece of the universe. This is how we could like onboard people into spare parts. And if you accumulate 5, for every 5 you unlock a piece of merchandise from any piece of merchandise from the website, which is on the link tree. If you accumulate 50, then you unlock one of these Limbots. Yeah.
All right, so 50. And then define being or having a part of the universe. If you buy one, is that like a ticket to getting into some exclusive events, or is that just like the best way to get involved in the community?
Yeah, whatever it is that I come up with in the future, that's like your ticket. That's like your ticket to be in the game show, your ticket to audition, to become into the Limbots animated series, and anything else that gets added. I haven't really thought of anything yet, but right now it's that's it. That's all it is.
Why Web3? Like, I heard you briefly mention it before earlier. You're not even really focused on, Web3, and I agree that shouldn't be the goal of any founders in the space. We're going for the masses, but so why put these on chain? Why not, just go ahead and keep producing the content and then rolling with what you're doing?
Yeah, great question. Actually, I'm still producing everything. I'm actively creating the sculptures, the cartoons, actively working on a game. I hosted a space for a few Mondays looking for digital illustrators. They popped up, and one of them is already working. A couple of them are already working on some illustrations for the game, which is a trading card game. But the reason I came into Web3 is the exact reason why I mentioned about not limiting my horizons. I saw Web3 as another platform avenue to promote what I'm creating. And I launched a token, and then there's these NFTs that are there. So whatever I can do to introduce people to what I'm creating, I will do it. And that's the same thing I'm doing with these display cases here. I take them downtown with me, and I set it up on a tripod, and I just stand there, and people just walk up, and they ask questions. What is this? And it's like live engagement, which is super cool, super fun, exciting for the people. They're wowed every time they see this. They're like, what the hell is this? And it makes me want to do it even more. That's why I'm doing the show this week, because there's gonna be a lot of eyes. There's gonna be a lot of eyes, and plus I'm on the map. So the first year I got added to the map. Yeah.
Let's go. Gotcha in the actual show. Before we get into the show, it looks like again the Wi-Fi is kind of really bugging out. I don't know if that's just on my end, but I'm not sure if you're able to adjust or turn off maybe your Wi-Fi and turn back on
Oh,
or something like that.
let me. I'm not even on the Wi-Fi. Did I get on?
Yeah, I would turn on the Wi-Fi. Yeah.
Let me see here. I just turned the Wi-Fi on and see if that makes any difference. All right. So the
Definitely.
Wi-Fi is on.
Yeah.
I hope it's a little bit better.
That's much better. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. Hell yeah. All right, let's keep it rolling.
We were
All
just
right,
going
cool.
through like
Yeah,
small
we're
spurts of
Oh
lagginess and stuff, but I
shit!
think we're good now.
Because I always turn off Wi-Fi.
Looks pretty smooth now on the out. So I'll holler if
Damn
awesome.
it! All right.
No, it's
All
good
right.
to know for future reference. It's good to know. Now we know.
Yeah, it is.
But
Don't use Wi-Fi on X, but you could use it on Discord. Yes. Okay. Noted.
yeah, well, honestly, X is its own thing. But hell yeah, no, this is crystal clear. Let's get before we end, we'll get you to show off those briefcases again, because now things are looking very clear. We'll definitely be able to see it. But I want you to talk more into like, I guess. You went into why Web3, but now, okay, how are you growing outside of Web3? You have this IRL events coming up, and most of the content that you're producing, is it going to be crypto oriented? Is it going to start going into broader things? Like, what's the strategy there?
For IRL.
Yeah, for both, for Spare Parts Universe. Where are you guys looking to grow? Is it mostly crypto, or is it kind of in general the Gen Pop?
Yeah, general. It's general. It's definitely. It's also that's another great question, because I work for my friend's company on and off for a long time, and uh, and we have some very, very connected and rich people. These guys are multi-billionaires. They have insurance firms. They got hedge fund companies, and these are all friends. We've built a relationship with these people. We go to their homes to service their homes, like their smart control systems, and we hang TVs and speakers and security cameras. We do all that, and I've managed to establish a relationship with them, and I just show them my artwork, and they love it. And I reached out to two of them, and they're like, "Yeah, let's talk." And as soon as I mentioned crypto, it was a wrap. So fuck crypto. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm just being honest, So
No, that's
no,
how it goes. Yeah.
yeah. If it trickles down to that, then great. That's awesome. But I'm not here for crypto. I'm here for my brand awareness. I'm here to expose everything that I'm creating artistically, entertaining wise, and whatever happens from there happens. So yeah, no, I'm not. Yeah, that answers that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then so like in terms of the actual intellectual property and how you're looking to grow it and promote it, is it mostly through IRL? channels, or I heard you also talk about maybe reaching out to some different like groups like Netflix or like Warner Brothers. Like, is that the goal maybe like in the longer term, or like where are you really trying to grow first?
I'm just overall generally just growing my whole universe, but the main goal is to get the show picked up by a major label, and it's not easy to do that, because I don't have the contacts, and I'm unsolicited, and I'm a nobody to these people. Nobody knows me. I don't have any views. Like I probably have some videos have like 14 views. But I'm still creating. It's not stopping me from creating because I love doing it. But eventually, once we make enough noise, you know, it should pop off. It should pop off, and it's going to be for me. The catapulting scenario is going to be the cartoon show, but mostly it's going to be the trading card game that I produced. And once I start hitting live events with that, it's I do strongly believe that it's going to be a wrap, because there's an ongoing demand for new games, and these nerds love to play, and I created something spectacular, and this is coming from people that I know unbiasedly, if that's the right word to say it. But these friends are constantly asking me, where's the game, these guys are ready to put money into it, but I'm not ready for that, and I don't want to just take people's money right now if it's not ready for that phase. So that to me is very validating. And again, the trading card game industry is growing every single year by the billions. Last year was $22 billion a year industry. This year was, I believe, 25 or 6 billion, and it's just constantly evolving. And that's the next thing after is I'm actively working on that too. Like I got illustrators on the back end right now drawing up the cards, and they're eager to share it. But we have an agreement. Nobody is allowed to share anything. I don't want anybody to share any of my illustrations. This is a work for hire contract base, and none of that needs to be published until the game is ready. I've made just quick little teasers of like some of the weapons, but I've created a whole new system. I didn't really change the wheel. I didn't change mechanics, because Magic the Gathering really holds the bar, and most of the games that come out are based off of that game, which also my game is based off of. It's inspired by that game, and it's I just created my own mechanics and rules, a set of rules that are going to be involved in the game. It's a 16-page manual. You're going to have to thoroughly read through to understand how the game works. And then once I do the final revision, I will be making a rough print and taking it to the test phase, which I really don't want to do, but it's got to be done. So yeah, the game
All right,
is also
what
titled
are
Bots.
what are you able to tell us about the trading card game besides it's got a 16-page manual? I think I heard you just say there that it does involve the limb bots. Like, how
Yeah,
long have you been building that out for? Yeah, what's going on there?
it's been in the works for the last 5 years. The last year, I took some time off of it, and it was much needed, because I went through the manual the other day, and there's things in there that I want to change now. So it's been 5 years in the makes. It's a dual deck system, which is I believe rare to a lot of the games that are out there. Most games just have one deck. You build your deck, and then you fight, you battle with each other. This game, it's a dual deck system, and there's going to be a series of different weapons and structures and figures and it's completely strategy and imagination. So if you don't know how to use your brain, then this game's not for you. And completely imaginative. You know, you paint this picture in your head when you're playing, and there's really not much else to say about that without getting into full detail, which we could get into once that time comes.
Oh yeah. All right. In the meantime, I won't push you too much on that, but tell me about the token. What's going on there? When did it launch? What's up with the token
Oh,
supply, all that stuff.
yeah. Well, as we all know, everything is tanking. So is spare parts token, which is great. I want it to tank even more because I'm gonna scoop the shit out of it up. So I'm waiting for it to hit like 60K. I'm going in. That's my number. 60K is my number. If it doesn't hit, then whatever. I'll ride it out. But 60K, yeah, the token's there. It's been alive for a year. It's on Solana. I launched it on Pump Fund. There's a lot of holders in there, a lot of dedicated people. There was a lot of trading going on in the earlier days. Some people made some money. The highs were about 500,000-600,000, and then it's just been kind of cruising from there. But I don't really mention the token that much. It's I put it as to like a you know do your own research kind of thing. Like a lot of people, they don't really dive in. Like this one illustrator or this one guy wanted to draw some shit for me, and I was like, "Do you even know what my universe entails?" He's like, "No, not really." I was like, "Well, go scroll the timeline and have a look, like see what's going on here." And then I know exactly what he did. He literally went like a week back. You can't just you can't just go a week back. Like if I find a project that I'm scrolling, bro. I'm going down that timeline, see what else they got, how active they are, what are they creating, and to get a better understanding of what these people are. But I just literally told the guy, I was like, bro, you're not cut for this project, bro. You clearly are just here to win money for your own pocket, and unfortunately, that's not my forte. So thank you for reaching out, but we're not going to be. Yeah, you're good. So.
Yeah, thank you for going over that. I guess my next question to you is a lot of this project company, whatever we want to call it, it's a business, really depends on you and your uniqueness and your abilities, to be able to deliver and execute. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about your personal background? What's some stuff you've done? How did you even get to creating these 10 years ago? What made you keep doing them for 10 years and, not quitting? That takes a lot of, guts, perseverance, craziness, whatever you want to call it, a combination of each of those.
Yeah.
What's a little background about you?
Oh, well, I mean, don't get me wrong. I've quit before, but I can't stop. I've quit. It's lasted a couple days. Sometimes it lasted a couple weeks, but it's just in my nature, man, to create art, music, paintings, whatever it is. I always come back to it. I'll take breaks and I'll just come back to it. And that's why I am, that's why I have a lot of skills. I'm I'm a high school dropout. I left when I was in ninth grade. I'm 42 years old now. I was born in Montreal. My family's from Turkey. I'm Armenian, and as soon as I dropped out, I got into the jewelry business, the diamond setting industry, to be exact. I was a setter. As a setter, for those that don't know, is one who mounts the diamonds into the gold, earring, teeth, necklace, pendant, watch, rings, anything. And I did that for about 25 some odd years. And I got out. I got out of that industry. I do it just privately now for friends, or if anybody trusts me enough online and they want pieces, then I'll make it happen for them. And yeah, I live in South Florida. I'm just a little bit north of Miami, and it's a little bit chilly here now, but it's fine. But that's really it, man. I'm not much of a reader. I really I'm so ADD. I get sidetracked. You know, I can't even. I don't know how to read, bro. I
I'm with you, man.
suck at reading.
I'm a slow reader too. I gotta reread everything like 4 times before I actually process it. Once I get it,
Yeah,
I really get it, but it takes me a minute. So I'm
it,
definitely with
yeah,
you.
yeah. It takes time. But I've never really completed a book in my entire life, and to some people, that's like, whoa, holy shit. But I've completed a lot of other things. You know, I like to make movies. I got short films online. I did a lot of acting, featured background roles, featured roles in many commercials and TV series like Burn Notice and Graceland. I did a couple XXL commercials. I was in Sony commercial. I was in Iron Man 3 as a biker gang member with my motorcycle. And I was doing that for a long time, and I really was really trying to pursue that and meet people. It was a very fun industry, man. It was very fun to be on set, see how everything's working, and you get to meet all these other extra actors who are doing things and taking things to the next level. And now I just do it for fun now, you know, like the movies. I got these short films that I did. One is called Svetlana, the movie. The other one I released just back here in Halloween. That was called The Looker. It's like a scary movie based off of a character that's got like multiple personalities, and it's damn near a silent film. And you know, I play the main character. I got a full feature that I wrote. It's called In an Instant, and that's about 180 pages, which is ironic because I barely read, but I'm able to write. I can write. You know, it's strange. It's like everything I've done in my life is backwards, bro. Everything is backwards, but it happens. It works. And that was a collaborative effort. And then I have another film that I started writing based on it's based on a true fake story, and it's about a guy who it's a very dramatic movie, and this movie is going to be about a guy who ends up sleeping with all his best friend's wives, and yeah, it's going to be bad. Yeah, and it's going to be a very dramatic film. Yeah, it's there's a very light humor involved, but the majority of it is like your average, you know, ABC Lifetime style movie. And this character just he gets hit on by these women, or at least he thinks he's getting hit on, so he pursues it, and it ends up happening. He ends up, you know, engaging into, you know, activities with most of them, and then everything just breaks loose towards the end. Like the climax of the movie is just absolutely crushing and dramatic. Like people slowly start finding out about this guy, and then he ends up ruining people's marriages, and yeah. And then I'm only like 50 pages in on that one, and I started writing that one about 2 summers ago while I spent some time on a boat, on a catamaran, on my friend's catamaran, who was a 45-foot catamaran. It was a huge boat, and he invited me to Chesapeake Bay to help him and his wife uh, do charters and sailing and stuff. I learned how to sail. I made a lot of money there while I was there. In a span of 4 months, I met a lot of people, and it was a great time. And while I spent that time on the boat is when I started writing that script. And these are things that are in my imagination. Okay, so everything that I do is real. Everything that I write, that I create, everything is based off of something that I've experienced like that script I'm telling you about. You know, it's part of me. The characters I create have a part of me. I've cut my fingers, I've bled, I've sweat. Like it's just everything that's part of me gets put into my universe. That's my form of expression. That's I believe that's what it is. Art is you know, it's a form of expression, how you feel, what you've experienced, what you're going through, you know. And I'm psyched about that film, but it's not a rush. I'm not there for that yet. I still have a couple things I got to experience for.
Sounds like it. It might be an autobiography. Who knows? I'll leave
There is
that. You
something.
know, only time will tell. But yeah, super exciting stuff, Oliver. Very interesting. It was good to know a little bit more about your background. I think that the diamond setting mixed with, you know, doing a little bit of acting and different stuff kind of all plays well into how this came to be. It looks almost like you're setting diamonds, you know, when you're placing hairs and stuff like that on a lot of these characters. So
Yeah.
on that note, we still got about 10 minutes left here. Now that we got some HD quality, we got some Wi-Fi going on here. Now is it cool if we do a little tour of the facility? See what's going on here.
Yeah.
See the characters. Let's
Absolutely.
go.
So what I'll do is I'll just walk into the room and try to give you guys a perspective of what it looks like walking into here. And so let me see if I could turn this camera on and make this even more comfortable. I don't know how to do it.
In the top right, if you tap the screen, it should have a. Oh
Oh.
yeah, he's on it. That's mine.
So this is the door. This is the door you come in. This is the whole setup right here. This is where I do all the music and the recording for the show with this mic. That corner back there is where I do all the paintings, like that painting on the wall right there. And I've made all these pieces here. And then this is where I create all the limbot. And these are bins of, you know, of spare parts. You know, all these are different. These are a bunch of heads that I started. These here are a bunch of arms. There's just a shit ton of arms. I mean, like these are all arms, bro. Like I got so many arms. It's this endless, bro. It's endless. I got another thing of arms right here. You see, like this is a double arm. You know, this is another coaxial cable arm. And then I made some of this stuff here. I'll show you this. I don't know if I showed you last time, but this is eyewear. You know, like this is I just modified some glasses, put some limbots there, and
Sick.
you know, yeah, that's some one of one stuff there. Like there's really, you know, and then there's another one here, another character on it. These are just little fun side things. There's another one I'm starting there. These are a bunch of other bins with spare parts here. Like this is all trash, man. Like I found all these pieces just everywhere. Like, you know what I mean? This is all used. None of this is bought. I don't buy anything except glue. This is trash. This is gonna be a serious limbot here. I got these necklaces that I made here. I made this necklace here. These are a couple other characters in the works. I got a bunch of stuff back here with wires, and that's a mixed media painting that I did there. This is an incense holder that I made, a one of one. Everything is a one of one. These are a bunch of characters that I started on that I haven't finished yet because I got sidetracked with creating these cases. This is another one. Here's another one here. Like there's another one there. This guy's made from, yeah. And then this is a bunch of other stuff here. You know, I got this little thing that I got here now where I just hang my stuff, which is cool. And then we got this guy here. We got that little guy, and then these are all the. Oh, let me show you the Gen 1. This is here now. So this is the Gen 1 characters. Most of these guys are in the show, in the collection, in the NFT collection. That's Thanos' character. If you remember that music video I did with Thanos. And then you got a couple guys back there made from pine cones and whatever those nature pieces are called. I got these decanters that I made, which is cool. I'll probably just give those all away. And then I got some more down there. That's Redneck Rodney. This is Schneider. You can see Schneider there. And then there's some other characters. That one a friend of mine helped me made. This is a little painting that I did. And then these are all kind of Gen 2, Gen 3. I got this thing. These two are just having a grand jolly old time.
Clearly.
Yeah.
That thing's sick.
Yeah.
That is sick. I like the airplanes and the tanks that are going on here too. These characters are awesome, but that's cool too. Holy shit.
Eventually, this is going to end up in the show too. This has a little cockpit area here where it opens up. We put the characters in there like in the show. And all these characters here, except this guy, this is Kapali. All these characters here are going to be released in the future as far as, you know, what do you call it? The collection, when and if I even make another collection, which I'd want to because I've already started working on it. And these are going to be part of it. It's going to be a limited collection again, like this one. This one is 504. And the next one might be a little limiting too. It's got a little bobbly head here. And then you got that little guy here, adjustable neck, that guy. And then these are some of the bigger pieces here. This thing is about 12 inches tall. This thing is bigger. I got all these little guys here. And this is the newest thing is this case here that I made. So this case is a modified briefcase. So I found the briefcase and then I just put all these parts on there and sprayed it down with a glaze coat and made this my display case for my Limbots. And these things, this shit came out sick, bro. Like I could change the colors on it. On this one has a different colored lighting. This is the light button here. I put this battery pack here and then kind of spruced it up with this chip, make it look cool. And then the wire comes up, travels through here, and it goes in through there. And then it just lights up the whole thing. And then here's another one, super bright.
These are sick. The cases are awesome.
Yeah.
Have you taken these to an airport though? That's my main question. Have you had to go through security?
Yeah, I want to. I really do. Believe me, I want to see what's going to happen. But I think the white lighting. I like the white lighting better. It makes everything pop more.
Yep. That looks clean. That looks super clean.
And I got this guy. This is I mean, you can tell the difference in the size here. You see that?
Yeah, that's massive. Little speaker head. Those massive speakers. So that's a new case that you're working on?
Yeah, this is a new case here. Yeah, I just been working on this, and then it's gonna have two shelves that I put in there with these little brackets that slide, and they're gonna tighten from the bottom here. And then I got these mirrors that are gonna go here, here, and here. Oh shit! I should have got one for the top here. I'll figure something out for that. I got the big mirror in there, and then I painted the trim yesterday, and today I put these in there yesterday and today, and then this has all the, this is huge, bro. Like it gets heavy. This thing got heavy. So this is the back of it. I ordered some LEDs for this thing that is gonna go in, and I'm gonna light the whole thing up. This is clear. It just has a protective film on there for right now, so I don't want it to get messed up. And then this is the window that goes here. And then once that's in, I'm gonna just lace it up inside with LEDs. And tomorrow should be this has to finish tomorrow. So once this is done, it's got I'm on a nice tripod here. That's a painting back there that I did. Super cool painting. And then this is the life-size version of Kapali. He's coming too. And I started working on this thing right here, which is going to be pretty cool once it's done. But it's I'm not here yet. I'm not on this one yet. And then this is the corner here where I did most of the work for the briefcases and the paintings I do in this corner. This is another case that I started, which is super cool. It's just a bunch of broken mirrors that I put together, and the same concept with all the chips and stuff. There's
Easily one of the most interesting things I've ever seen. All of these limb bots. This is absolutely one of the most unique companies and projects and things I've ever seen on Earth. Is this is that case that you're showing? Are you going to take that to display it somewhere, or why is that one in a special case? What's going on here?
I don't know. Oh, this one right here. This limb bot.
Yeah. Why is he in here? What's going on here?
I guess that was just the most accessible one next to me while I was working on this piece here. I wanted to set it in there to see what it would look like, so you can see it from every angle.
Very.
I might take this with me.
Very cool.
This is a gift for the. This is the one I was telling you about. Is the gift
for the home.
For the founder of that event that we're going to.
Epic stuff. Oliver, we are getting close. We are getting pretty close to our time here, but I want to do a little one more over. If we could direct people to where can they mint? How much is it? A little mint information. I guess how many are left, or the total size of the collection, and do they have to enter a password? I saw that was there for some people, not there for others. What's going on there?
Yeah, the PIN code is always going to be required. The PIN code originally was there for the people who wanted early access. I called it the scrap list, and the PIN code is 007-007, and it's probably going to be live for the rest of this week. And then once this week goes by, it's going to be locked on, and that PIN code is no longer going to be available. You're going to have to then request access. And it's right now going for 0.55 SOL. It was 39. I told everybody that I was going to raise the price, and I did. And the only reason I raised it is because Solana started tanking. So I didn't want nothing less than $55 US dollars for these NFTs, and a lot of people got a good hand, and I'm not disappointed about that at all. It's cool, they showed up early and they deserved it, so appreciate that and respect to all them. But the price is updated. It's spumachine.com. There's been some people that have been having issues with the site. I'm not exactly sure what it is, because it works fine for me, and some people close it, reopen it, but just use the Phantom browser, I guess, or Soulflare, and go into the browser within that wallet, so that way you just connect your wallet and then experience the machine. And it's I've been hearing a lot of great things. It's truly a unique experience, and that's what I wanted to do. So we did it that way, and it turned out we finally did it. It's here. And there's 504 in the collection. I think about 74.8 is already minted. And if you get, for every 5, you unlock an article of merchandise from the website, which is going to shut down on February 18th. So if you see anything you like, take a screenshot of it because I will only be taking private orders. It will no longer be available to the public because that's how I want it. And if you keep 50, then you unlock one of these limb bots. These here limb bots, and you can, if you're close, I'll bring it to you. Otherwise, we all ship it. We'd have to ship it, but that's not a problem. I got a lot of bubble wrap. These things aren't really gonna. They shouldn't break. I mean, I've had those ones you saw behind the curtain for 11 years. You know, and these things have nature pieces on them. They're still there. Eventually, they're gonna grow old with you. Eventually, I'm sure in another 20 years, they might part, but we're falling apart too, so why not?
Amen to that. We're all just a bunch of spare parts at the end of the day. Until then, though, Oliver, I appreciate you for tuning in. Anything else? Any other alpha you want to leave us with? Anything else you want to say before we move on to Frankie J?
No, man. Just if you like what you see, dive in, man. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Let's get these watch time hours up. Share it with your friends. You don't have to necessarily share it to anybody in Web3. Like, just share it. I mean, it's a cartoon show. You know, it's fun. It's funny. It's satire. So yeah, just share. Just subscribe to the YouTube and let's all try to work together and take spare parts to the next level. Otherwise, it's just gonna take that much longer, you know. But I'm having fun, man. I'm having fun. That's really the reality of it. I'm having fun.
10 years in the making, and I got a long way to go left. Appreciate you, Oliver, for jumping up here. Like I said, we'll definitely get you back for some updates in the future, for some updated AMAs and seeing how the mint goes, different stuff like that. And feel free to chill on up here if you'd like. Throughout, we got Frankie J doing some TA, and then Anthony, who's going to be jumping in and pitching Infinite NFT. But thanks again, Oliver. Appreciate you, bro.
Thanks, man. Thanks for reaching out, bro. Yeah, I'll stick around. I'm here. I'm just gonna do some stuff here.
Hey, let's get it. And also stick around for the after show, guys. We're going to be jumping over here. Right now, we have the audio going through the New Money Media X. I'm going to be jumping over there as well on my personal account to blow it up. And we're going to be blowing it up after this live stream. So we got this live stream here. We're going to be highlighting 1 to 2 companies per week. And then we're going to get some TA with Frankie J here for a weekly segment, and we're very fortunate to have him coming up next. And let us know what you guys think of this new format. Right after this live stream ends, we're going to switch it on over to the X space, start taking some pitches over there. But for now, I do want to say what's up. I see Pat in the building too. What's going on, Pat? How you doing, bro?
Yo, what's going on, Joe, Wally, Frankie, Anthony, Oliver? What's up, fellas? Glad to be here. I caught the last tail end of that. I know the spare parts universe has new mint and stuff like that. Pretty cool. I'm gonna dive deeper into it and check it out. Unfortunately, didn't catch the entire pitch, but I see the Bucky's hoodie too. It's fucking gas. But yeah, I was just driving, fucking, trying not to hit a bunch of snowbanks. It's really snowy here, Joe. You know that. Still iced over everything, but yeah, man, I'm good and excited to. With the new format, you know, after this, we're going to be over on Twitter, blowing up a space, having the, you know, best of both worlds kind of jazz. Really glad with how things are shaking out here, Wally. The new layout is fucking amazing. And let's run it up, boys. Gas it.
Let's go. Appreciate you, Pat. If both of you, Pat, Oliver, or whoever's not chatting, if you guys wouldn't mind muting your mics real quick. I don't know if I have the power to do that or not, to be honest with you, but I just want to make sure house cleaning rules. But for now, let's go ahead and kick things off. We got a little TA with Frankie J. Obviously, the markets have been absolutely insane. I personally have been a fan of the 4-year cycle and saying that it hasn't gone away, but I've also kind of been commenting and saying that people are being bearish, shouldn't be bearish. So I've been playing devil's advocate, but I still think the 4-year cycle is real. I'm curious though to hear Frankie J's thoughts and what he thinks going on, why I'm either an idiot or why he thinks I'm right and where he thinks we're heading. What's up?
Real quick before Frankie J jumps in, I mean, we have probably the biggest scandal in the history of geopolitics like unfolding before us right now, and this makes Watergate, you know, look like a parking ticket, and there's tensions with Iran and all types of stuff.
Yep.
So, you know, it is what it is, but dude, crazy stuff going on right now. Let's hear from Frankie.
Absolutely insane. Frankie J, what the hell's going on, man? How you doing?
Yo, what's good?
How you doing?
Good, man. Just chilling. Just got back. Uber driver was just just one of those. So
Oh
it
yeah.
took me a while. I wanted to just fucking throw him out of the car and drive the car myself, but wasn't an option, sadly. Anyway, yeah, the 4-year cycle, man. Shit, I mean, am I gonna sound like a fucking idiot if I say I still don't believe it? I mean, here's the thing. Like, obviously, we've nuked in price, right? Right around the end of the 4th year. I'm not, and this is maybe just me coping, I'm not entirely convinced that would have happened without the liquidation event. But also at the same time, like we are facing a lot of macro headwinds right now. Does that mean that we're going to enter a, because typically what the 4-year would call for, unless I'm mistaken, is about a 12 to 18 month, Bitcoin winter, crypto winter. Now I've heard some people tell me that the 4-year cycle actually calls for a recovery towards the end of the year, and that this, despite my, I'd say, bullishness, I think I've been, at least in some other spaces, I've been pointing more towards the back end of the year after we get the new Fed chair, after we give this big beautiful bill stimulus some time to kick in. I talk about the ISM a lot, which is how we measure what's called the business cycle. I think you were on X yesterday. Everybody was, screaming about the ISM is now above 50, which concerns me. If you have everybody screaming about the same thing, it's like, well, shit, is this really even going to happen? So, 4-year cycle or not, we are where we are. And to be honest with you, I don't see a reason for us to do anything exciting in the near future. There are 6 key macro cycles, as explained by Darius Dale, that drive risk assets, and that's liquidity, positioning, growth, inflation, monetary and fiscal headwinds or tailwinds. And the reality is a lot of, most of those are headwinds right now. So you kind of just accept the fact that this is where we are, I suppose. That being said, moving forward, we still do have a lot of, I think, positive things in the pipeline. You have the new Fed chair, which maybe that's a topic unto itself. Everyone thinks he's a hawk. I'm not entirely convinced. There's a connection here that I'm not sure if everybody's seeing. Kevin Warsh is our new guy. He was, until very recently, working with a fellow named Stanley Druckenmiller, who is a big time hedge fund manager. He's worth about $8 billion and everything that goes with it. Now, you ask yourself, why is that relevant? Well, because as it so happens, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent was also a pupil and somebody who worked very closely with Stanley Druckenmiller before he went and did other things. So now you've got the 2 most powerful men in global finance tied to this guy who's already a billionaire, widely regarded as the best hedge fund manager in the world. They're all part of this. They're all part of this administration now that campaigned on running the economy hot in pushing everything higher and running everything up, in creating cheaper capital, easier access to money, and essentially higher asset prices. It's pretty much what he told everybody, right? Does that mean he can do it? Not necessarily. But do I think this guy's going to get in there and be this massive hawk that everyone, saying that he's going to be? I'd be surprised if he is. His beef is more with the balance sheet, the Fed balance sheet, and that's QE, that's QT. So he's not a big fan of QE. He would actually fist fight QE if he could. That being said, we also have $39 trillion of debt, and so it's like, how are you going to be a hawk on the balance sheet when you've got this much debt? Who else is going to buy the debt? Well, as it so happens, right now we're in the middle of a geopolitically driven. I mean, speaking of geopolitics, a geopolitically driven supply and demand imbalance in the Treasury bond market, which means nobody wants to buy U.S. debt. Given the volatility that we've been seeing, we've seen old lines being redrawn, for better or worse. But that's just a situation we find ourselves in. So is this guy really going to come in there and shrink the balance sheet and fucking? No, I mean, I don't think he is. Because how? Who else is going to buy the debt? What are you going to do with it? You can't just will it away. So I don't think this guy's going to be the big hawk that everybody thinks. So you're looking at a new Fed chair coming in who, through all logic and reason, is probably not going to be particularly hawkish. You've got a Treasury Secretary who wants to run it hot. You've got an administration that wants to run it hot. The economy is heating up. I mean, things are looking quite good. You've got AI-driven productivity, which is inherently, disinflationary. That's going to allow the Fed to continue to bring rates down. You've got the Fed's already in QE. They're already printing $40 billion a month, and that's likely to increase, if I had to guess. By how much and when, couldn't tell you, but I'd reckon that it is. Everything looks good in my mind to look at the back half of the year. Then you've got the business cycle heating up, which is kind of the temperature check on Main Street, and that I think is kind of the reason why there's two reasons I think why. I don't even know how long I have this time, but there's two reasons why I think we are where we are, and that is that. Number one, I think first and foremost, we had the largest liquidation event we've ever seen on October 10th. And they estimate that about 50% of market makers got wiped out. Now, if you look at October 6th, we set a new all-time high for Bitcoin, 125K. We were ripping. Everybody was feeling good, ultimately doing their thing, but Bitcoin was rallying. ETH was looking good. We've got the stablecoin bill in. And we're all looking good. October 10th happens, and I'm still not even sure really everything that happened, but it wiped out half of the market makers in the space. You got to figure that's a pretty significant thing. And since then, we've watched the entire. I mean, and I was kind of bullish on the end of the year, and not really for alts necessarily, but just for the economy in general. And we saw everything running. We saw stocks running, we saw commodities running, we saw precious metals, silver, for fuck's sake, running. So it's like, okay, and now crypto's nowhere to be seen. Makes sense to me that liquidation event might have had something to do with it. How long does crypto take to recover from something like that? I honestly don't know. All I know is that ETH active addresses are exploding right now. If you look at ETH active addresses, it's the highest it's been since December 2022. Does it stay like that for very long? Not sure. But I think there's something brewing. And especially with this Clarity Act, which I do think is going to pass. I do think that's going to pass if we avoid a long shutdown. That's another thing too, man. You've got the shutdown now. And are you catching my drift? There's so much going on. And you just had one of the largest global asset sell-offs. You saw gold. I mean, things came back a little bit. They did. But at the same time, and as I think it was Pat said, you've got this, and I imagine he's referring to the Epstein thing. But even if, but aside from that, even you've got so much going on. You've got a new Fed chair. You've got old lines being redrawn. You've got this Epstein thing going on. You name it, and there's something crazy going on. So it makes sense to me why markets kind of sold off following the news of a Fed chair who possibly was going to be a hawk. You know what I mean? And it wasn't just in the U.S. either. I think South Korea had to literally shut down their stock market because it was just crashing so hard, or something like that. You can look it up. All this is to say is that we're in a pretty precarious time. The outlook does look good, but we've got to get some things sorted first. We kind of got to get our house in order. There's a lot going on that's just not conducive for higher asset prices. But I do remain optimistic. I think what catalysts am I looking forward to in the next, let's call it 6 to 8 months? Well, we've got the new Fed chair coming in, who I do think is going to restructure the Fed a little bit and, kind of change the way they do things. I think give people more clearance, more clarity on where their policy is going to be. If you listen to that last FOMC meeting, I mean, they basically got there and just said nothing for 40 minutes. So regime change at the Fed, which I think is good. You've got the economy accelerating and expanding on the back of productivity gains and deregulation and tax incentives to do more investing here at home, more manufacturing here at home. That's going to show up in the ISM. And the ISM historically is very tightly connected to Bitcoin prices, to altcoin prices, because that's the retail connection, right? I mean, that's the second part. It's the 10-10 event, and then it's retail. Is this completely broke in this country? And this is the U.S. is the country that kind of drives crypto prices. So again, it doesn't surprise me that we are where we are following that 10-10 event. I think was kind of the icing on the cake, and it just kind of kicked it off. And I think this 4-year cycle thing is a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy. I'm not convinced that Bitcoin cycles drive, global risk markets like all assets. Maybe it just controls crypto. Maybe it just controls the price of Bitcoin and crypto follows it. Who knows, really? But it sure does seem to be playing out, doesn't it? Can't argue with the fact. So I'm bullish on the future. The new Fed chair, economy expanding, got productivity gains. And I'll quote Darius Dale again, who, for you probably wondering who this guy is. Darius Dale is one of the best macro risk managers in the world, hands down. And what he argues very consistently is that if you are in the middle of a productivity renaissance, which we are, AI and everything that goes with it, make no mistake, like that is a productivity boom. You have to, and I'll quote him, you have to be bullish until further notice. You have to be resoundingly bullish until further notice, because that is driving up supply, and that allows you to increase demand, which is what rate cuts do. A rate cut is essentially just more demand. You're making things cheaper. And so demand immediately increases. Supply increases too due to rate cuts, but not until like years later. So you have an immediate surge in demand, but then if supply is not increasing at least equal to that, prices go higher. That's inflation. Because you're creating more demand without the supply. So now you have to bring prices higher. Supply and demand. It's simple. Anybody who's ever sold a dime bag understands that. So I think that's bullish. I think that's something we can look forward to. But I don't see anything really, particularly bullish, really for the first quarter or two, to be honest with you. And that's just the way it is, I suppose. In times like these, I remember, and this is kind of getting away from macro a little bit, but I remember in 2023 at the beginning when I re-entered crypto and really started paying attention. Solana was $15, Chainlink was $4, Ethereum was maybe $1,500, and I was buying. I had money put aside. I was just buying stuff. And I remember the first surge, and if you guys are there, you'll remember it too. Solana went from like $8, $10, $15 to like $50, $60, and it was like, God damn. I was bummed out. I was literally bummed out. I was like, God damn it. I was like, fucking, it's rallying. I was like, son of a bitch. I was like, I can't buy. I didn't want to buy anymore. I should have kept buying, right? But yeah, I just, so try to embrace that feeling, and a lot of people are probably already down bad. They bought in late 2024, early 2025, whatever. That's something you got to figure out. But, these are opportunities. Real money is made in the bear market, not again, are we in a 12 to 18 month bear market? I really don't think so. But I can't predict the future. But those are a lot of thoughts, I realize. Hopefully I didn't lose anybody. If you want me to clarify anything, I don't know if I still have time left.
Yeah, we got about 7 minutes before we are going to throw it over to Anti-Infinite NFT. So throw it, Pat.
No shit, we got 7 minutes left. That's crazy.
Yeah, let's get it.
So Frankie, what do you think about? Because right now I feel like we're in a situation where a lot of stuff is like being propagated. BlackRock is still making massive buys. They kind of look like wash traders almost with the price dumping like this, manipulators. What do you think about Bitcoin dominance? Do you think that there will be a time in the not necessarily near future, but do you think things will stop following Bitcoin as tightly as they used to, knowing now that this narrative of that this entire looks like it will continue to grow, this whole MIT, Epstein, all these things will be talked about probably for the next 6 months. Do you think that has any connect or could have any connection to things like Bitcoin dominance and yeah?
No, I think so. I think and I'm not too, up to date on the Epstein stuff, but I think this just as the space proliferates, it will stop following Bitcoin around as much as ETH, especially. We could even start to see like an ETH dominance once you get that Clarity Act in place. That really is a game changer. That brings everybody in. That brings everybody in. And, I mean, and I'm not the on-chain sleuth that I probably should be, but if you look, I mean, I have to imagine you're seeing some institutional buying of Bitcoin and ETH, maybe Chainlink, a few others, Solana. I have to imagine the big dogs are positioning themselves, because I still think, despite everything, the writing's kind of on the wall for this industry and where we're going. And I think the trade of our generation is, as Raul Paul says, is this market cap going from 3 trillion to 100 trillion over the next 10 years. I think crypto is what allows us to grow with this productivity surge we're seeing in AI and stuff, and scale everything and bring truth to an AI dominated world. So Bitcoin dominance, I mean, ironically, as the ISM goes higher, which is that thing I was talking about earlier, how we measure the expansion of the economy, as that goes higher, Bitcoin dominance falls, because you have more people feeling more wealthy. And so you see kind of the risks kind of spread around. And you're already seeing that with that. Away from the Mag 7, you're seeing it go into other things now, the Russell, S&P 493, whatever it is. So, I think you will see some, like, kind of what they call a broadening out as the economy heats up, as people feel more, as people take more risk. So yeah, I don't see Bitcoin dominance being like the big thing that it is for forever, or maybe even for much longer, relatively speaking. But I think a big part of that does depend on the Clarity Act getting passed. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but if this thing doesn't get passed by like the middle of Q2, it's probably not going to get passed until the next time that they, and then if the Dems flip the House, which it's looking increasingly likely like they will, who knows what happens then? And you do have a pretty pro crypto cohort of Dems, but let's hope they can get this thing passed before that. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, I think that it does. I think that, like, right now it feels like we're in a situation where, and I think that this happened with has continued to happen, but happened a lot with like after the COVID crash, with things like tech stocks, for example. You have a similar situation in that, like, right now, because things have been following Bitcoin for so long, people talk in 4-year cycles. They think that they can predict the market without really a bull case for what their product actually does, how it drives value to other people, how it makes other people money. It's tough for people to put fair value on stuff. So, for example, Solana, like, you're looking at Solana without Pump Fund, without the casino, like, what's really the fair value of Solana? I mean, personally, I'd probably say it's like $40, right? Because it's taken over the chain at this point. That same concept applied to other stuff, and now on a grander scale with all this turbulence, like Bitcoin, it's like, what really, like, how can we have more than a bull case, right? Because there's a bull case with a price target, or when you're trading, or there's a thesis that makes sense at any level, right? That there's a reason for this entire market to go from 3 trillion to 100 trillion and change people's lives, change a lot of people's lives that believed in it from the beginning, like that transfer of wealth we've always been talking about. Without a thesis that makes sense for these smaller, or not smaller, but for things like, because I think ETH has that, right? Bitcoin had always been in the situation where it's consistently just deals, it's liquidity, inflows and out, and all the stuff that you were talking about. While ETH and its growth is, in turn, what the price should be dependent on is, how much money is going through that, how much is being generated in fees, how many people are building on top of it, building new things that make other people money, that make themselves money, real businesses popping up on there. So I don't know, I'm really bullish on ETH, and I'm really bullish on, stuff that provides value, because right now I think people are just sick and tired of the manipulation, and they want to find things that they can put fair, that they can have their own, not follow someone else's thesis, bull case, and, put a price target down. I think it's really tough for people to put price targets down right now, and because of that, people are really scared to start DCAing, charts that are in free fall. Even though it's like, dude, Solana under $100, like, we should be loading up in theory, in my opinion. But people are too scared to do that. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree, man. I definitely agree. I think there's a return to, like, maybe like value investing, or whatever you want to call it.
Common sense, literally using our brains. Sorry.
Yeah, I think so, man. And I think that I think the time of just just buying things just because is probably coming to an end sooner than later. And maybe start approaching it the way you do, like, equities, or things like that, like what's how much money they make in, that's how I always tried to make my investments. Like, I never bought any of the speculative stuff. It was really never for me. I tried to look at, like, who's building on the, who's building, what demand is there, what kind of clients do they have, et cetera, et cetera. So that's how I always chose. So, like, it lets you sit comfortably through some of these moves, because it's like, okay, like, prices are down, the industry's down, but at the end of the day, like, all my assets are, generating value. They have clients. They're creating something. They're doing something,
Right.
Something that worked. That
we got to move on. We're at our time here. I want to be respectful.
Can I just get like 20 seconds real quick? Just let me get like 20 seconds. Okay.
20 seconds.
So we just saw something interesting, right? That I think is on a smaller scale, right? With Bonk, right? With Bonk and USD1. A lot of the theses for these big tokens were that Bonk itself was going to come in and pump their token, right? And like, in that, you have a lot of people waiting for that pump. Now they're all diving face first into the ground, because people are understanding now that, like, no one's going to come and fucking save them. Bonk is not going to pump your token to 100 million, and you guys' collective thesis was all based on chart and not value, right? So I think what Joe said, like, common sense and like value investing, or common sense investing will hopefully rise again.
Brains on. Thank you, Pat. Thank you, Frankie J, for jumping up here. Any closing remarks, Frankie J? We do really gotta keep things moving on here. Anything else you want to leave us with?
Yeah, man, for sure. No, I agree with what Pat said. And yeah, man, look for the value. Look for look for what can last.
Thank you, Frankie J. Thank you, Pat. Moral of the story, guys, anyone that actually calls himself a real investor actually looks at how much money a company is going to generate, like what's the potential, like, product offer, like the total addressable market. Like, these are all real things that we don't talk about in Web3. That's like what normal businesses like actually talk about. And if you look at stocks and anything in the stock market, you can look at all these things to make an informed decision. So I think that is our goal here, is going to try and bring as many of these interviews, break down on, bring as many different high quality companies that are in Web3, and try and shine a little bit of light on different ways that they're actually generating revenue, so we can make some common sense investments, as maybe is the theme of the night. But who knows? Crypto, common sense, I don't really know if that even makes sense either, to be fair. But thank you, Frankie J, for jumping up here. Looking forward to hearing you next week if you're available as well. Always happy to have you. A little TA with Frankie J. Thank you, Pat. Always great co-host. Glad to have you on here. We're going to take things over now, though, to Anthony from Infinite NFT. They're also minting live right now. They have a playable game that you yourself can actually get involved with. So we're going to throw things over to him. What you got for us today, Anthony?
What's going on, Joe? How you doing?
I can't complain, man. Another day above ground. How about yourself?
Same, man. I've been up since 2 a.m. and I've been burning all of the midnight oil and some. But we're here. And we're here to tell you a little bit about what we got going on. Of course, we know that you know, Joe. We know you, Wally, and Pat know. But for those who don't know, my name's Anthony. I'm one half of the founding team here at Infinity Royale. And we are a Web2 RPG style trading card game. Emphasis on the Web2, right? Where your NFTs can actually become playable characters in our game. And players actually battle and, fast-paced eliminations. They complete quests, they walk around in the world together, they earn rewards, climb the leaderboards, all that stuff, all while using NFTs that they already own, right? What makes us a little different, aside from being, a Web2 project with Web3 integration, is our economy and our revenue model. And so essentially 50% of all of the revenue that we make goes back to the NFT holders, and another 10 to 25% goes back to the collection respective thereof. So if you have IP in the game, every time a card gets purchased or a card pack gets purchased, you get paid when we get paid, which is immediately, which is really nice. And so we like to call ourselves a community of communities. We love collaborating with different projects and integrating those projects into our game and into our story. And our mission is super simple, right? Our mission is to bridge Web 2 and Web 3 in the most seamless way possible through easy, accessible, fun gameplay. I keep looking down because I'm looking at something real special here. But you know, this provides you real utility with earning potential. And you know, so we're not just like another Web3 game where you have to own an NFT to participate. It's Web2. It's zero barrier to entry. You can come in and you can, you know, spend money or not spend money and still be able to support NFT collections, respective thereof. One of the things I do like to brag about is that we have introduced whales to projects. And so, you know, there are people who weren't aware of projects prior and have, you know, bought up a ton of NFTs in a particular project, and we've created lasting friendships through our game. So that's really awesome. And again, we are a trading card game, so just want to throw that out there. Yesterday, we had a really big thing happen. Our physical cards actually have arrived. So our first physical cards and card packs have arrived. I'm going to showcase a little bit of what we've gotten in, but the actual reveal and the live card pack curations, that's going to be reserved for you know, the early reveal is going to be reserved for our holders, and then the card pack curations and things like that are going to be reserved for our live stream that we have coming up soon. Date pending, but really, really soon. So you'll want to make sure that you're following us on X, as you have your notifications on for that. Because there may or may not be a post that comes out. We may just throw the live stream up. So you'll just want to make sure that you're there, because we'll do some really cool things. We'll do some giveaways. We'll do some stuff. So now I'm going to crack open this box here. But before I do that, I got to keep, even though most of this stuff is shrink wrapped and all that stuff, I'm still going to put on my gloves here because everything's going to stay in mint condition. There are a couple things I'll take out to show you. So first and foremost, here are our booster cards, our booster packs. So these booster packs are what our holders are going to get if they hold 4 infinity orbs. 10 cards will come in here. It's super shiny. I don't know if you can see everything that's going on there, but they'll get 10 cards in there consisting of 1 or 2 character cards. They may be holographic, they may not be. Then you're going to get 8 or 9 infinity cards as well with that. So we'll be packing these and sealing these live. They'll be face down. I won't know what goes in them. So, you know, surprise, surprise for everybody. But those came out really, really good. They're really polished. Next, we're going to move on to the actual card packs themselves, like the full case card packs or the hardback card packs. And so these feature 2 of our primary characters here, Toshi and Blitz. I'm not sure if you can see those that well because I'm on my mobile device, but these packs are absolutely awesome. Fun little fact on the bottom there teaches you how to say the name of the game. So that's fun because, you know, that's hard to say, fun to play. So a little nugget I like to add there. And then I'll pull these other 3 things up to show here before moving on from this. But here we have a pack full of infinity cards. So these are going to be our item cards. So there on the front, you see we've got a sleight of hand card here, which, you know, if you play this on another player, you'll take their hand, they'll take yours. It could be cause a lot of mayhem, but these aren't all sleight of hands. There's about 150 cards in here. They're all going to be different cards, and we've got 6 of these. And then we've got our character cards here. You'll see that character there is Aporia. So that is one of the cards there. These came out super, super clean, super polished. We're really excited about it. And then last but not least, you'll see we've got a handful. Just look how thin that is. There's less than 2% of these cards are holographic. And so this is Blitz that you saw on that main or on that card pack there. But this card is holographic. And less than 2% of these cards are going to be holographic. So super, super rare. And they just came out super clean. We're super excited. So card packs are going out really soon. Going to be curating those. Yeah, and so we are a web app, meaning that it is a web-based game that you can play on your browser, on your laptop, or from your mobile phone. It's responsive to all devices. The mobile app is in development or has been in development for forever. We paused that development, but we're picking it back up since now we're in season 2. So that's going back into development in season 2 and should be out around season 3. So we're really excited about that. Prepping for our cons and other live events that we'll be a part of. And a lot of cool, exciting stuff. We got, our animation department is working really, really hard to put together something super cool for you. I just got to show Toshi the rough draft of our anime intro. So he's gotten to see that, and we're picking it apart, making it super solid. And it's just been a really, really awesome and exciting time. We've only been out since July 4th of last year. So 7 months. And we're already at about 350 players with over like 13,000 matches played. So there's a lot of activity going on in there. It's really exciting. We're getting new players almost every day at this point. I think at the start of season 2, we had 301 players. So we're getting two to five players every day, new players, which is really exciting. Word of mouth is really starting to hit. And that's without our referral program even being in the game yet. So that's coming here shortly. So you'll be able to win some really, really awesome stylized versions of some of these cards. Some of these character cards have secondary versions, much how like you would see like a bunch of different Pikachus, like Pikachu cards, right? So some of these cards have evolved into their version 2s, not necessarily like evolved like Pokemon, but like in the sense of like the art form. So we have different artists who are working with us aside from myself that will create different versions of the cards. And then those are a lot more rare. And you'll be able to unlock some of those in the game by doing some achievables, and you'll be able to, hopefully get your hand on a couple of them here physically as well. So super excited. Yeah, it's kind of where we're at. And I don't know if you got questions or whatever, but I'm here.
Yeah, plenty. I appreciate you. And if you want to show off at all any gameplay or anything like that, feel free. I'm gonna throw a couple questions. Pat is really the kind of gaming expert here. So I'll leave him for the nitty gritty. But for myself, I guess if you wouldn't mind, like explain, I guess more like the broader ecosystem in general. I know that we have this game going on here. There's some NFTs going on here, but really the goal is to be kind of like an agency that's developing different games and different IP. So could you just explain, I guess, the relationship between the NFTs and the game one more time, and then the company itself, and where you guys are heading?
So the company is under a rebrand structurally, not Infinity Royale. Infinity Royale is a subsidiary of the brand, but we are rebranding to Infinity Studios, where we will be housing our animation studio and our gaming studio. And essentially, we're focusing on all things entertainment, even down the line, doing things like product placement, like book bags, shoes, lunch boxes, for the kids, and plushies and keychains and all that, all of that stuff. But we're going through that rebranding, and essentially the overarching, just I guess ecosystem or the economy is essentially, if you have IP in our ecosystem, the revenue splits are the same across the board, across all products, physical, digital. So you literally are our partners. And so this isn't one of those things where, in each individual instance, we're getting more money than you. We're actually, getting less. And so it's a grow together type of economy. Again, one of the things that we like to say is that we're a community of communities. And so essentially, we're just here to kind of help individual communities integrate themselves into the ecosystem and get discovered by other people who are or are not in Web3. So I'm trying to answer that question while also logging into Discord on my computer so that I can show some gameplay, not realizing I'm at home and I should have just done this from my computer in the first place. But
You're good, bro. Yeah, don't stress about it.
I could fire up a screen share and hop in the game if you want on my computer.
That would be great. I'm also doing the same. But yeah, let's do it.
And
I don't know if
if it's easier.
Join in here from.
And Anthony, while you set that up, if you wouldn't mind going more into like the rev share model. So how many digital collectibles are there? And then how's that working with, you said a little small percent of each of the packs will be going back to you. So like what, the percent breakdown or like the certain percent going towards holders? And if you grow, then like, is it going to be like slightly diluted, the shares? Like, how's all that going to work?
We currently have over 100 digital collectibles in the game, which those in-game collectibles are eventually going to be across the entire ecosystem, right? So it wouldn't just be cards, right? It could be merchant memorabilia, right? And again, that rev share looks like anytime there's a purchase made featuring that IP. It's the same breakdown for card packs and or just like singular card purchases. So for character cards, singularly, 50% goes to the holder. So if you're buying a card that's $6-7, or let's just say 8 for math's sake. We can say 7. My brain caught up. I'm super tired. Sorry. So if you're buying a card for $7, the holder's going to get $350. So we were initially only the only payment processing that we had implemented was Stripe. So you did have to go through a Stripe KYC. You still have to go through a Stripe KYC. But you're able to pay, fiat or with Bitcoin or with Solana or ETH, if I'm not mistaken, through Stripe. But we also fully integrated Abstract Chain. So now you can pay with Abstract ETH from your Battle wallet as well. So you have to load up your Battle wallet in the game, and you can also make purchases with your Battle wallet as well. And whatever your payment method, that 50% revenue goes directly to the holder. And then again, another 10 to 25% to the collection respective thereof. And so you can click on any one of the cards, any one of the character cards, and we can kind of show what they look like. You saw one of the two of the physical versions. But
really quickly, before we jump into the cards, I just want to make sure that I'm understanding this correctly. When I was referring to digital collectibles, I was referring to the NFTs. I don't really use that word as much, or it's so interchangeable. But so for the NFTs, there's like a certain rev share, and then if you actually own, is there separate like collectibles? You said there's like 300 of something else, where if you own that, you'll get like a 50% split. Like where'd that 50% of the card pack come from?
The 50. So the card pack is the same. So with the card pack, you could essentially you could get 1 to 2 character cards in the card pack, and so that 50% revenue split is split amongst whoever the IP holders are in there, right? So if there's one of the Solana Dead's characters and another Dragon Punk's characters, they're going to take that 50% and split it amongst themselves, right? So one person could, in a card pack, if they're the only card featured in that pack, could walk away with $4 or $5. Whereas if there's 2 cards in that pack, then they can walk away with like $2 or $3, right? And then each collection that is represented splits that 10 to 25%, depending on where they're at with us in terms of their partnership. But so that is the revenue model. It's based on it's across the board. So it's the same rev split. It's the same rev share across the board. So regardless if you're looking at like a singular card or a pack, or whatever the case. So whatever the cost of that good is, that's what we split.
So what do people need to buy in order to get the 50% split?
When you say people, which people are you referring to? Are you just like the people who are playing?
If I'm an investor and you're saying that I get 50% of every time my IP shows up in a pack of cards.
Well, that's a funny word to use because technically we could look at them like investors, but they're partners. And so essentially, we don't have what you would call a traditional investor, right? We bootstrapped this thing from the.
Pat, you mind turning off your media real quick?
Oops.
I had a phone call coming in. I don't know if it cut me out, but so yeah, we don't have traditional investors. This thing has been bootstrapped by myself and Toshi, and the capital that we've raised through the game, through the ecosystem, through the mint of the Infinity Orbs, and so the 50%. So if you're a holder of any one of those characters, all those characters in the game isn't an NFT that belongs to somebody else.
Okay.
Some of those are ours, but I mean, we probably hold maybe 6 of those NFTs that are in the game between Toshi and I. And so every NFT in the game does belong to somebody, right? And so that person, when their card gets purchased, they get revenue. And so that's how that works.
There we go. Okay, so these are other NFTs. These are soul deads, etc. Where if you own a specific one, it's not if you own any in the collections. If you own the specific one that's featured on the card, then you will get a percent of whatever that card made. Essentially, does it have? Can you walk me through the process? Like if I am an owner of that soul dead, my bad, Pat. If I'm an owner of a soul dead and I own that specific one that's on that card, how do I go and prove that to you? How do I claim it? etc.
Yeah, so we actually work directly with all of the holders and the collections to verify holders are who they are, make sure that the assets are in their wallets. So right now it's a little lengthy process. We've added some asset verification into the game, mostly through Abstract Chain right now. So right now the only ones that we can verify from the game, everything else is manual because we work really hard, is going to be Infinity Orbs and Dragon Punks. But we actually, we have testnet. We've got Solana testnet integrated. We've got base testnet integrated, but we aren't quite pushing that narrative yet. We want to make sure that Abstract is all the way up in 100%. Well, it is all the way up, but we want to make sure that that's that started moving. Yeah, we're going through. We're working with the holders, mostly with the collections, to verify everybody who they are. Everybody who is who they say they are. It also does help that we have to go through this Stripe KYC thing, because people have to be people. So that's really great. So we haven't had any bad actors, which is super awesome. % bad actor rate right now, which is really awesome in our ecosystem. And so it's been a lot of diligent work between us and the collections. We do check-ins and things like that to make sure that assets aren't moving. But that's pretty much where we're at right now. Hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, for sure. I last piece, and then I know Pat had a part he wanted to jump in on, but just I'm so curious about this process then. So do these people get paid? How do you know to pay these people when the packs are received? Do you just know their IP is going out in a certain number? There's a certain number of cards in a certain amount of collection that's going out, and you just know, how do you know how much to pay them and where the cards?
So every card has metadata attached to it.
Cool.
In the game, excuse me.
Cool.
Every card in the game has metadata attached to it that and the packs in the game are random. So it's just whenever those cards show up, there's the metadata is read, and the monies are sent to the appropriate accounts. And so the money gets transferred in and immediately transferred out to whatever account, it crosses with that metadata. So it's 100% secure. We haven't had any false positives in terms of like paying the wrong person. So that's been good. But that's all, API integration, through Stripe. But then also we're able to use that same Stripe data, which is really awesome because it's pretty much an identifier to be able to, pay a particular person. So it doesn't matter what payment method they choose, it'll always go to the right account. So the beautiful part about even like the abstract ETH, if I go into the game and I purchase a card with abstract ETH, it goes to the correct account via the metadata. And even if that person doesn't have an abstract wallet yet, it's essentially held in an escrow, right, under their account. And then once they create their abstract wallet, they're able to move those funds into their abstract wallet that they created. So super cool stuff. Yeah. And then in terms of like getting your IP in the game, it's through the collection. So we partner with collections. And then, we do things like, we do all types of stuff, competitions, giveaways, where people are like earning slots. They may give some, slots away to their whales. Generally, at the top of a new season, a collection can get in up to 12 slots. It could increase or whatever, but if you do get in the game, which is super dope, if you're active, you get rewarded because, if you reach level 50 and you've got IP in the game, you can get a version 2 of one of your cards, which increases the likelihood of you getting revenue and, earning more by having a higher earning potential in the game. So it's a really cool thing that we're doing. And in regards to like the physical stuff, it's all pre-order. So we pre-order and then we know who to pay.
Super interesting. Thank you. I know that was probably like duh kind of stuff, but for anybody that's unfamiliar, it's interesting to know how that works. And now I'll let the experts take over. So Pat, if you want to jump in with any questions, or if you guys want to show off any gameplay, I'll sit back.
Yeah, that sounds good. Questions wise, I guess like what would you say for the next, let's say like couple months, say like 1 to 3 months, like what's the biggest, thing that will help or that will drive growth and, bring new players into the game?
I accidentally switched devices and I didn't know that I switched devices. So I caught, I think, a portion of your question. You said in the next 1 to 3 months, what do I think is going to be the biggest thing
Like
that drives
driver of
growth?
growth for bringing players into the game.
Several factors actually. One I touched on earlier, which is going to be our referral system. We are going to heavily reward people who are actively bringing new players into the game. We have some semblance of a referral system in the game, but it is not um, reward based. It's not built out. But that's one of the things going into development here in the next week. So just building out that reward system in game, whether it be, um, monetary, physical, or, just like digital stuff that you can only get by referring. We're looking at all of those different avenues of being able to drive growth in that manner. It's also about strategic partnerships. I think we did a really good job picking partners this cycle. There were a couple partners who didn't make it in, which, regrettably so, but, there's always season 3 and season 4. But we chose some amazing partners. I couldn't be happier, and I have to give hats off to one of our top players. I have to say, one of our top players. He's technically number 1 in the game, but whatever. Uh, Rivered, he has been super, super helpful in vetting projects to bring in. ones that are active, because in our first season, we brought on 13 projects, but only 4 of them were actually active and, are still active. And so it's really about the most strategic partnerships, making sure that we have all of our funnels closed, all of our loops closed in terms of marketing, being able to send out email and text notifications. Once the mobile app is here, being able to, send push notifications, hosting things like events and tournaments, and also IRL. So, going to these cons and introducing Web 2 in a physical space, which would help drive digital growth as well. So those are our areas of focus. I mean, we only have 2 main goals this year, which is to increase brand awareness and I'm sleepy. I'm sorry. Increase brand awareness and grow our community. Yeah, those are our 2 primary goals, and there are quite a few things that go into each one of those. Some of those I just broke down. Um, but it's gonna be the same climb as we grow. It's really just about closing the loops in the game, rewarding those who are active, and bringing new players. I think that's going to be a mega driver. And honestly, these physical cards are so clean. Like I'd be shocked to not get new players from some of these physical card sales. Honestly, I can probably say that 75% of these cards are probably spoken for in terms of like people who are ready to buy, which is really exciting. Um, but we're just gonna keep doing what we're doing in terms of making sure that we're part of that. That's one big thing I did leave out, Pat, is abstract. We're currently trying to get on a portal over there. There are a lot of gamers on abstract. It's not the only chain we're going to be on. I know I've said that, but being on the chain's platforms is going to be monumental because that's where the eyeballs are. So being on abstract, being on base, right, the base app as a mini app. We've got, some partners over there that are helping get us over there. But base is a little further down the line. So, just that's kind of a little bit of our roadmap.
Nice, yeah. I think like one thing that comes to mind is like communities that have been around, they're active, like the smaller, going to like the smaller accounts, 1 to 3,000 followers, and Sappy Seals, Pudgy Penguins that are still around riding for their community, stuff like that. NFT projects that have stood the test of time, like getting in with some of those guys, probably seeing if they can point you in the right directions for bigger, Sappy Seals, Pudgy Penguins, all of these different projects. Bring smaller projects together, and then they can all grow together in game, like you're talking about. And then, attract, bigger projects as well. And, the growth, like, side of stuff for digital, will be, or it feels like that will, grow itself almost. It's just like, what can you do on top of that now? So, yeah, questions wise, that's pretty much it. I don't know, Joe, if you have any questions.
I do have a bunch of questions, but I'd like to see some gameplay. I want to see what this is looking like. Are you guys about to fight right now? I want to see some cards online. Anything going on there? I know Anthony switched screens. Are you guys set up?
I could share
Hello?
too. Oh yeah, he's got it. Bet.
Oh yeah, he's on it.
Right, there
Let's
we go.
Let's go.
I just got some cards unlocked, so let me claim that. I'm gonna go ahead and just start a match. Create a room. 6 players, bots on. I can go ranked or exhibition. Exhibition means it's not gonna count on my win or loss. I can change the timer. I'll keep it set. I can choose bots on or off. I can keep this Royale, PvE, or teams. If I am teams, if I'm doing teams, I can do 2 or 3 teams. But I'm going to do a Royale so everybody for themselves. I can also wager Infinity tokens, or I can wager Abstract ETH if I wanted to do that. I'm not going to do a wager, however. Just going to start that one up. And then we are not going to report myself. I'm going to select a deck here. Just going to choose my default character here. And I'm ready up. Now, Pat, if you are still in the game and you want to join my lobby, feel free. I'll give you a couple seconds here.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We're looking for you. You know, in the game, you know, we've got these you've got emotes that you can do. You can also chat amongst your party or your lobby. We're in the lobby right now. There's also DMs that you can communicate with people. I'm gonna go ahead and run this match. Pat, I don't know if you said you were coming or not.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out again. I just fired it back up.
Yes. So if you go to if you're on the main menu, you can press play, then matchmaking, and then you should see my room there.
It took me to World, so now I'm in the.
Okay, so yeah, you gotta walk up to the arena.
Oh yeah, okay, cool, yeah.
And then talk to the receptionist.
Yeah.
He's walking around in the world right now, so give him a second. He's gonna get into the building.
Yeah, join. Oh yeah, okay, man.
And then we'll see Pat. Pat, there he is. All right, and then Pat's gonna choose his character. When he's ready, I can start the match. All right. And let's go F12. Y'all a full screen if I can. Nope, that didn't do it.
You look good here.
Is it F12,
Yep.
right? Oh, full screen.
Yeah, but it looks good. It looks like we can see everything.
All right, so I can play a card on myself, which I'm going to do to increase my attack here. There's also there's cards that can like increase your attack. There are cards that can increase your health or decrease someone else's health for that matter. So if I played this on this bot here, and that card is active for 3 turns, so it takes 1 health for 3 turns. So if he doesn't do anything for his health for 3 turns, that number is going to deplete down to 1 after 3 turns. So now it's Pat's turn. I am going to try to zoom out here. I thought F12 gives you a full screen, but it doesn't seem like that was the case. Try one more time. No, it doesn't. Okay. Well, and so essentially this is a battle row. I was first, Pat was second. And each character is taking their turn. They get to make 2 moves per turn. And they can use any one of the cards, any one of the 5 cards in their hand to strategically help themselves. This card is effectively in attack mode, meaning they can literally attack somebody and maybe kill them, maybe not. And so this card just went to attack mode as well. A lot of this stuff actually has been updated on the development server, which I wonder if I could make a quick switch to. But I'm just going to go ahead and go into attack mode here and see if I can kill this bot real quick. Let's attack this one.
We're teaming up on him.
Yeah, let's do that.
Look alive.
So when you go do an attack, you can you'll see like the attack animations of the characters and things like that. This character is effectively dead, as you can see with the face down card with the pile of ash on it. Yeah, you get 2 moves per turn to try to help benefit yourself or, hurt someone else, and effectively be the last person standing.
So do you guys each start with 3 cards originally? Is that what it was? Like that's what we're looking at, these top 6? Oh, you start with 5.
With 5. Yep, you start with 5, and then you've got your little deck case here. So every time I use a card, you'll see that deck case pop open at the end of my turn and fill however many cards I played, generally either 1 or 2, if I've played a card. And then it kind of also, it also shows you how many cards you have left. So I'll just use this to use a card on myself, and then I'll try to kill this bot over here. But after I do that, you'll effectively see my, oh, I missed. Yeah, you'll see my card come out, deck closes. But the reason I missed is because I have an accuracy of 8, if you can see here on my card. And I spun a 9. So when you go to attack a player, you have to spin a wheel, numbers 1 through 10. And then based on what you land on, it will determine whether you've hit that character or not. So to land an attack, you have to land on your accuracy number or below. If you land on your accuracy number, you do +1 damage, because that'll be a critical. And if you land on anything above that, you miss. Now you can buff your accuracy by having accuracy cards in your hand, in your deck, and playing them on yourself. But anytime you use an attack card or a card that increases your attack, like this one, on yourself, or an accuracy card, after you attack, your attack and your accuracy actually reset back to their original stats, so they don't remain buffed. So I'm attacking here, and as you can see, my 9 went back down to a 6. And now you might be like, okay, well, your attack was a 9, but you just did 10. Why is that? Well, if I click on this character, you'll see here that I do +1 damage to void characters. So there is an elemental play at this game as well. So you can see I'm fire, Pat's fire, Moon, this bot is void, and this bot is grass. So we're actually, in a good position against these 2 characters, because our element will do more damage, and inadvertently their attacks to us will do less. So anytime they're set to do 5, they would do 4 to us, for example.
Dude, I'm an idiot. Those were 6 players, and you have 5 in your hand clearly. But this looks fun, honestly. Now that I understand, and thank you for explaining those are players. I should have understood when it said bot player 1, bot player 2, bot player 3. But for sure, that would have made obvious sense. But no, this is sick, actually. I understand. You're kind of like playing just to survive, essentially, and like you're just trying to get, your long hair. I like the elemental twist as well. Like some people you just might naturally like line up better against. And so that's why, Pat, in the beginning, you were picking your character, I guess, so specifically. So each of them will have like their strengths and weaknesses.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is sick.
When you're playing with up to 12 people, you're kind of watching in that lobby, like who's picking what. And you really, you can make, as many decks as you have available to make, at your disposal. So you'll even decide to choose, specific decks that benefit you. And so here's an accuracy card here. I'm going to cancel this attack. So here's an accuracy card, and when I play it, my accuracy will go to 10, meaning I can't miss because the spin wheel only goes up to 10. Except it didn't work. That's funny. Did I play it on myself? I don't know. Did I play it on you, Pat? I played it on Pat. It's funny.
He's stoked. You can't miss.
Well, now Pat can't miss. Pat has 13 accuracy. His accuracy is OP. He literally can't miss if he hits me. So he's gonna attack me. Now I would assume.
Job self with the foot on accident. I was distracting him. I got you, Pat. That was the 1-2.
Oh, he played an attack card on me, which increased my attack. So if I hit him next time, he'll die. Yep. You
Wait,
can make
so
mistakes here.
can you play? Can you play duos? Like, can you play 2v2s yet?
Yeah, you can play 2v2. You can play 2v2, you can play 2v3, you can play 3v3. You can have 3 teams of twos, 2 teams of threes, 3 teams of threes, and teams of fours. You can have teams of 6. Like, you can really mix it up.
So
Then there's
can I? Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, I was just gonna say, and then there's PvE, which is humans versus bots.
First, this is fire. And my
This-
question, my bad to jump in there. Well, I guess my question, and if you want to explain this, so can you buy the decks IRL, and then can you play with the same decks that you buy like in the game? Is that possible?
So we are going to tie that in. It's not a thing as it stands, but we're going to have validations. Essentially, you'll be able to validate what you purchased, and then you'll be able to. Let me switch this up. You'll be able to try to type and talk at the same time.
Not possible.
No, it's not. Yeah, that will be a thing.
Cool.
I might not be logged in on this one. I am.
Nice.
Okay, and so this is actually the development server. And so there are a couple features on here that don't exist. Or you can purchase card packs.
Are you guys gonna do a desktop app?
Yeah. And actually, funny enough, you can actually install it as a desktop. We rotate out several character cards that are featured from each collection. And I can legit say, I want to see only the rare and epic cards. I only want to see the fire cards. And I only want to see cards from these collections if they're there. And it'll filter out, and that there's only one card that fit that filter. But so you can go through and look for whatever you want. You can buy different orbs that you can walk around and roll in, or I'm walking around as Zay right now. You can buy different emotes, which you saw me use, stickers and whatnot. Like I think I'm walking around with the Infinity sticker, the Royale logo. You can buy Infinity tokens, which you can use to purchase other things in the store. And so, yeah, see me walking around, that's Zay. But if I actually leave this world, I can go in and I can change my character simply by clicking, scrolling. Maybe I want to be a red orb. Maybe I want to use my legend badge because I'm a legend. I go in and I can play and I can enter the world. And now I'm a little orb. Showcasing my legendary badge.
I like him bouncing around. I like it. Dude, everything about this, the animations are just so clean. The whole website as you're transitioning between things is very smooth. It just reminds me of that very fun, like pleasant web browser experience, like why I played Club Penguin or, so many of the other games when I was younger mostly, but now it looks like I might be playing some browser-based games again here. I definitely got to jump in here and run some 2s or some 3s with someone. Also on that note, what is the best way you would recommend someone get involved with this? Because for a lot of these games, there's so much that you have to learn, in the front end. It's very top heavy. So what's the best way that you recommend someone sort of get involved? Is just jump in and play or read out some cards first? What do you think?
I'm glad you said that. Honestly, the best thing I would recommend is hopping in the Discord and asking questions. Because we're going to be super enthusiastic to teach you how to play. We're going to throw you in. We're going to show you what to do. But, you know, for when you're on your little solo venture, you'll definitely want to come talk to the decksmith, or just go to another way you can get to this is just going to from the main page, from the main menu, you can just click on cards down here in the bottom left-hand corner. I'm hating how I'm on my smaller laptop, and I'm hating how squished this screen looks. But you can go through here and you can literally click through. Yeah, like this is looking crazy on this tiny screen. But you can go through here and click through, read your cards. You swipe to go to the next one, and drag it and throw it over. And you can just sit here and go through your cards and just read them and see what they do. You can filter them. You can see, you know, all types, finite cards, infinite, the ones that you own. You can sort them based on their name, the area that they affect. You can go check out the character cards and check their stats. Even the ones you don't own, you can look at still. Yeah, and you know, same scenario. Check the stats. It's got 5 health, 2 shield, 6 attack, and 5 accuracy. And you know, he's a common card. This is an uncommon card. And then same thing here. I can filter these cards and, you know, see what you know, I can base it on rarity. I can filter based on what I own. You know, sort them by the collection. But yeah, we got some really cool stuff in here. Here's an example of one of the characters, or one of the character cards. The person that owns this NFT has blown through level 50, and they were able to get a version 2 of their card here, and all the version 2s get backgrounds. Yes. Can I open this on the dev server? I don't know. Maybe not on the dev server. But this card is really cool, and I want to show it, but I don't own it.
Not gonna let
I
you.
don't want it. I can't show it, apparently. Oh, well.
People have to see it
Yeah.
themselves. They have to jump on the site.
Yeah, here's a version here's a version 2. Funny enough, I don't own the original version of this card, so that is an example of a version 2 card. This PC is really struggling. But yeah, another let me see, is there any card that I own? The regular, okay, yeah, here's one. Okay, so here is Ivy. This person blew through level 50, and boom, there's the version 2. So different art form, same character, different stats, gets a background, and then the little artist information and whatever badge they have. This one was designed by me, hence the Infinity Royale logo. And yeah, so really cool stuff, really cool cards that are in this game, really cool collections, and we're ever growing. So, you know, if you want to be a part of what we got going on, feel free to reach out via Instagram, Discord, not Instagram. I was going to say TikTok. I'm sleepy. X. Come see us on X.
What is what's your guys' at for anybody who's just listening in, maybe? And then when's the next tournament that people can jump in on?
Yes, our at is Infinity Royale. That's INI. So like you're about to spell infinity. So ININFT. So Infinity, and then Royale. That's going to be our handle. It's going to be the site, infinityroyale.com. Everything's consistent. And you asked a second question. You did.
Oh,
I
yeah.
forgot.
I was like, did I? When's the next tournament that people can get involved in?
The next tournament. So the next tournament, so we do game nights every Tuesday. Those are 9 p.m. EST. So you can always hop into the game night. We do bounties, so it kind of breaks up the traditional gameplay. So we could do things like who accumulates the most health over, you know, 4 matches or whatever. And we do things like we do monetary and NFT giveaways, like if you can hit those bounties. So it's fun to come play. We play in the Quack Discord, but if you just come to our Discord, we'll direct you to the right place. we generally max out the space. It's really fun. A lot of people show up, a lot of people play. It is really hard to try to win when you're playing with all humans. But it's a ton of fun, a lot of banter. Even if you just want to watch, it's really entertaining because people talk a lot of stuff and it's hilarious. In regards to the next tournament, we're actually prepping for a really big tournament. We're going to start putting out some promo stuff. We just had the conversation yesterday. So we're going to spend about 3 weeks doing some promo because there's going to be, it's going to be teams of three. There will be a buy-in. There will be a big monetary pot for the winner. We might throw some NFTs in there. Who knows? We're still ideating. But we should start promoting here in the next couple of days. It'll probably be after we do the live card pack curation live stream. So that we can kind of just streamline everything. And that tournament will, I think, start in March is our expected ETA, early mid-March. And then that will run for a couple weeks. And we'll be, I think we're going to continue streaming those tournament matches in the Quack Discord just 'cause that's where everybody tends to group together. But again, if you just huddle up in our Discord, we'll get you to the right spot. So
Right on, beautiful. And the mint is live right now. It's at launchmynft.io. If you guys search for Infant NFT, you guys can find, or Infinity Orbs, you guys can find it over there right now. How much are they selling for? It's a certain number of ETH, or is it a US dollar
yes.
amount?
So, and we did not touch on that at all. We are minting live on Launch My NFT as it stands. Searching up Infinity Orbs, like Joe said, it's 0.008 ETH, which right now I think is like it's not much. It might
No,
be. I think
unfortunately.
it's yeah. So I mean, get them while they're hot.
Yeah,
Because
for real.
when we did launch them, they were sitting at about $25. ETH was about 3 grand. So they're probably sitting at about what, $18 now? 18, $19. So I would scoop some up because there's, quite a bit of utility there in terms of it's all going to be within our ecosystem. So if you hold an orb, you get early access and into some of our features, our alpha via our Discord. So just to be an early insider, you own two. You get things, in-game rewards, things like updated spin wheel. So you get a daily spin wheel. So you get spin wheel, get a prize. So every day, you get an upgraded version of that. There's some other things that come with that. But 4 is my most exciting one. I think that that's feasible. If you own 4 orbs, you get a physical card pack shipped to you. So that's fun. So again, ETH is down, so I would get one soon. I'd get some orbs soon. And by the way, those infinity orbs are the things that, that was the little red ball bouncing around in the game. Those are the infinity orbs. If you own 10, you get an IP slot in the game, actually. So if you own IP of any of our partnering collections, you get a slot there. And so that's cool. So, you get to be a part of the ecosystem. You own, I think, 20, you get to be a part of the lore shipper program. So you get to help out with like the story mode, which is coming. Hence why you're even able to walk around in the world. And then if you own 30, you get a personalized supporter plaque that you can hang up in your home. So that's really cool. There's memorabilia and other things that you get along the way, but those are just some of the hot points that I can just kind of remember off the top of my head. And there's more stuff to come too that is a developing list. We're working on, folks who hold 50, 100 plus. So, yeah, come support and be a part of the ecosystem.
It's incredibly impressive. The platform's freaking awesome. Everything's super clean, super smooth. I'm very stoked to have you here. I can't believe how early you are to be here. I think we'll look back on these time periods, be like, wow, like it's insane that we got you guys on the show. so early, but it is the end of this live stream. We're going to jump on over to the X space now. So if anybody wants to jump on over there, we'll be doing some chilling, talking macro. And then we'll probably hear if Anthony wants to do another chill, or Oliver from Spare Parts Universe, feel free. If not, no worries. So I got this long live stream here. If you guys want to, feel free to at least chill on stage. You can. But Anthony, anything you want to leave us with before we move on?
Yeah. Again, we're a community of communities and we're open to work with everybody. This really is about pushing the Web3 narrative into Web2 in a non-icky, sticky way, right? Make it super seamless and super fun. So if you believe in something like that, if that's a passion of yours, we love to hear from you. We love to partner with you. And again, this thing is gonna go parabolic. Don't be a person who who had an opportunity to get in early while it was cheap and it was, just, a fun thing. You I would highly encourage you to be an early mover on this because it really isn't about us. It's about the ecosystem. And this is just our way of pushing it forward. But yeah, that's all I got. Y'all have a blessed one. I'm not gonna be in
X space.
the
Yeah.
yes, because I need to get some rest.
Do it.
Again, been burning that midnight oil. But Joe, thank you so much for just being super lenient and working with me in terms of the time slots and things like that, and being super vigilant and staying on my behind, metaphorically speaking, to make sure that I get here. So super appreciative to you, Wally, Pat. Thank y'all for having me. That's all I got.
Let's go. Appreciate you, Anthony, for jumping on here. That's everything for this live stream this time, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Let us know what you thought of this new format of us just having maybe 2 interviews a week. And then we're going to jump on over here to X, and we're going to start doing the Pitch-A-Thon over there. It looks like people start leaving because I thought it was the end of the X space, but we're going to jump on over to X. We're going to blow that up right now. I'm going to jump in on my personal account. If you guys want to jump on over there, we're going to do like the normal Pitch-A-Thon. We'll just see how many people show up. If not, we'll just shoot the shit for a little bit. It'll be chill. But thank you guys for tuning in. Let us know what you thought of this new format. As always, this was Joe from New Money Media. We all know there's smart money, dumb money, old money. Years from now, they'll be calling you New Money. Until then, I'll catch you guys soon. Appreciate you, Wally. Appreciate you, Pat. Anything else you guys want to say?
All good. Peace out.
Let's go into space.